I know a big difference. I could tell a big difference rather from black men when I was coming up, my grandfather's age, to the black men of today. But she forgot to mention one thing: who raised them? Who raised those men? Okay, now all of a sudden we don't want to take no accountability for how they got there. See, let me tell you something. And I've been in the Black American community, African American community for many years since I've been born. And I want to have an honest discussion about certain things. Whenever sisters get pregnant, on Facebook, you would always see sisters congratulating ladies. Some of these ladies didn't even have the resources to maintain themselves, but oh, you got pregnant, congrats. You have a male child. Either the father is a lot of times you're pregnant and you're not even with the guy, or it's never about the time the baby comes to term. You're not with them no more, and it becomes a us against the world, me and my baby against the world. You will hear ladies say, well, you know what? My mom died or my dad died. And so I wanted a baby so I can have somebody on my side. Like things like that. And again, I can't explain why a woman thinks that, that's cool. I've heard that from many women, well, my mother passed away, so I needed a baby so somebody would love me. I'm not a woman. I can't explain, how women feel like that. I'm not even going to try to get into that mindset. Maybe a woman can understand it better than me. I'll leave it alone. All right. But I've heard so many women say, well, as long as I have the baby, the guy can go. Then what I see when the baby is a man, baby's a woman, the mother will say, you need to get out there. You need to do what you need to do as a woman. Don't depend on no man. Then when it's a young man, a lot of these mamas are babying these boys. Okay. And, even me, my dad was there for enough for me, and my grandfather was there. My mom used to want to baby me all the time. My dad was like, no, don't baby him. Get up. We used to ride the bike over at the Watch Towers when I was a kid. We'll fall off the bike and start crying. My dad immediately said, stop crying. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get back on the bike now. And, a woman will look at that and, oh, you're oh my God, you're not, you're being rude. That's toxic masculinity. No, because that's how the world gonna treat your son. The world gonna treat your son like that. If you're a woman, listen to what I'm talking about. The world gonna always say, get up. Some other woman gonna say, get up. They don't want to hear his excuses why you can't do this. Women don't want to hear why you can't be effective. The world don't care. Get up. That's all you're gonna hear. Especially when you're black men, you're applying to college, you're applying for a job. Nobody care about what you've been through. All right. Normally nobody, but for real, for your ass, get up. That's all the world care about with the black.
I don't think nobody can disagree with anything he just said.
I'll say we stop here for a second. Who raising these men? So that's part of the elephant in the room. And another thing is, I'll say this: it's not necessarily single raised boys. It's they raised by these modern women, because most of the men from my era, I know lots of men that was raised by single moms, and they don't act like these men today. So y'all created these men.
Now I want to say this. I agree with literally everything he just said and what you just said. The problem is the woman did not continue to stay the woman. She tried to therefore become the man instead of staying in her true nature.
You said today's woman.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about today. I think, like you said,
I mean, it started in like 89 though. Let's
I'm
make
just
sure
getting
we point
context.
that
I
out.
hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that you like it's cap. We know hella single mothers that have old school mothers or either like traditional.
Here's what I'll say real quick though, Crystal. The women back in the day weren't all the way single. The stepdaddies was a thing, and these men ain't doing it, and that's part of it as well. And I don't think they should do it. These women should be more careful what they want. I don't think they have to do it. But like you say, growing up with us, even though my mom was a single mom, she sort of kept a man, if you will. Wasn't necessarily a stepdaddy or halfway worth a damn. But women back then, even though they wasn't with the child's father, they sort of had like a live-in man. Damn near every woman had a man back in the day.
So my question is, first off,
wait, before you ask your question, let me tag on to that. Something else that's different. We also had a village approach before. because the village approach left while I was growing up. There were people who was on my block that was allowed to discipline me. Like,
Yes.
when you get down the street, your mama gonna know what you did down this block. That does not exist. You cannot tell these Black women kids nothing. I don't care what my child do, don't say nothing to them. So once we eliminated that, we removed the men from the household. There is no way you expecting some man to grow up and grow into a man. And that's my argument. How, if nobody is displaying a role model of a man, you just expect him to turn 18 and become one because he just grew into it? No, he's going to act like the example he had his whole life, which was his mama, who is feminine, who's overly emotional, who does not take acceptance for who she is. There's no accountability, blame game. So we have to accept that these men that we see are the very things that we create. Shout out to the Godfather. And that's why I be mad at y'all. Just to add more to it.
I wonder why the crime rate is so high. Like why they delete the way they delete each other without thinking about it. I'll get you here, Crystal. But the way these men are, just to hit on what Picnic said, the way they are emotional. Look at all they loot in these stores and all this crazy stuff these young people are doing. They acting like, you know, a man. You give an emotional man, you put a firearm in his hand, and he young like that, and that's why they acting the way they acting. So
no, I think everything has been facts. And I think that's why, unfortunately, the weight always falls more on the woman. Whether we like it or not, it is what it is. And that's why men always are able to say the whole, well, it was in your womb, because ultimately, you know, we are left with it, right? So if whoever the burden of the responsibility is left on, it's left on them. But I think we should also take a deeper look into that. But we ain't going down no rabbit holes. But it's true. But I think one thing we miss, first off, the ratchetness of this society and the fact that women, okay, yeah, we can, you know, move into more modern days, but that don't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater and forget where you came from, your traditions, and being a woman and covering up and, you know, having some type of innocence, if you will, about you or whatever. Like, we just lost it, man. We lost it. With that being said, we also are having a conversation about where, to the Princella point, how important it is to have a man in the home. That men are completely useless and just let them live on the island and screw men. Like, I'm not with that either. And I also think, too, we need to do a better job of completely listening to people before we completely throw them. Kevin Samuels, for example, is somebody who people heard video clips from and just said, oh, he hates women. Nobody listened 100% to his old content before he popped off and his full lives, you know? So our attention span is short. So I think on both ends, we need to listen. If you can't stand Princella, you probably need to listen to a lot of Princella. If you can't stand Kevin Samuels, you probably need to listen to a lot of Kevin Samuels. That's how I think we become more balanced thinkers. But also just one point that I'm done. Yeah, I think that we men also, to my point that I was saying in one of my videos, we need dads. We need the fathers there. So it doesn't mean she a single mama, kick her to the streets. No, look at what's happened since men have not been in the home. So if you have a child, or if you know a man who ain't taking care of his baby, and I can say this for the millennials fix that. Millennials will shame another man if he ain't taking care of his kid. And we got to give props to the millennial men for that, because they do. But anyway, yeah, we got to clean up the streets. We got to clean up each other and the women's behavior. We got to get back to our, you know, ourselves and who we were, incorporating it into this modern world. But men, y'all just can't say women messed it up and that's it. We tried. We've been trying since the 90s. So we ain't gonna keep on trying. No, he'll Nug help. If Nug gonna listen, help him out. I know men mostly don't listen until they hit rock bottom sometimes, but still be that example so we can have these dads in the home with the babies, because we do need you all there, in my opinion.
I think that this movement is on us. I think men should give us more grace, absolutely, because they like to generalize us, but that's another topic. But I feel like this is on us because it wasn't men that was requesting us to be more revealing. The sexual liberation was started by us. That was a decision that we made. And then it was women that was like, there were women telling me, there are women who tell me all the time, I should dress more casual. You should be more naked. You should wear more form-fitting clothes. So it's just like, if that's, oh yeah. When I go to work, one girl told me that I'd be looking too business-like. She's like, what are you doing? Why we can't see your booty? And it's like,
yeah.
I mean,
my Lord.
Wait your ass out. Break out.
You know, so
Like,
if that's the message, you know, like I've shared that my grandmother taught my sister the game. That's how my sister became a stripper. That my grandmother sat her down and told her men are to be used. So if that is the women that's
what? Hold on, wait, say that
programming-
one more time. Pick me.
my grandmother, my mother's mother taught my sister how to become a stripper and how to use men. That's how my sister started her career. So if your grandmother is telling you that men are not worth
That is
anything,
so sad for real.
I
man.
mean,
I'm
but
so
this
sad.
is why I don't be liking women.
It's criminal.
It's criminal.
But,
That's horrible.
So if that's your reality and that's what the women are programming you to do, like I say all the time, there are more side chicks with babies than there are women of value. The women of value sitting up there got their legs closed and ain't giving these men babies. But these women that don't hold no values is the ones that's raising the children. Therefore, these children aren't gaining any values. And when you're trying to sit down and have conversations with women who are generationally taught how to be whores, you get some pushback.
Yes. It's true. And you shouldn't. Like you should. But I think that's why we need a sisterhood. That's why I think me, you, and Lamb, I don't care what happens. We can disagree, argue, whatever. But we need to do our part to get these women back on track. Like, y'all, it's bad.
Do you think it's possible though? Because I'm just gonna say one thing and then let me know if you think it's possible for us to all be on the same accord. So do you guys see that one video of the two black women in Walmart? The one black lady with her kid told this other black lady with her kids that your children are being too loud, like they're being disruptive. And then the other black lady threw like some cans, threw something at the woman, but it hit her child instead. So like there was a black woman trying to hold a black woman accountable to her children misbehaving, and that black woman attacked her and ended up injuring the child. So this is a sisterhood, and it was two black women.
Listen, because Lamb, this is where we go wrong. And no offense, I'm gonna use some real words, real people, but like that's why I don't have I'm gonna say this so I can be respectful. That's why I don't use the Crimson Cure approach of healing black women, because it's just like when you decide to go to therapy. A great therapist can never get to her client if she harshly offends her client so much so. Now, yes, you have to, tell truth, shame the devil. You got to definitely call it out, but we will never get anywhere by not trying to hear the other person out or understand where they're coming from. Now, with that being said, why did she throw that can? Ma'am, you need to be in jail somewhere, right? But this is what I mean. We're messed up right now, y'all. Like we are literally going crazy, like you said, Lamb, and losing our minds because of this world that we are in. So we have the responsibility we got to do our part. Okay, what about, no rabbit holes, but did slaves think they would get free one day? Hell to the no. But you got to do and fight no matter what. So that's all I'm saying. No rabbit holes, but yeah.
I want to go because it's a good dialogue. The only reason why we are stuck is because we refuse to hold women who share our reflection accountable. We make excuses for why they act the way they act. Every single one of us have trauma. It's generational. We're carrying it on for years. It is our responsibility to understand that whatever we didn't gain from our parents, we need to go out and get. That's not what we be doing. We repeat cycles.
We do.
Somebody tells you.
We do.
Well, I'm not talking about the three of us. I mean collectively, black women as a whole. So when you address the black woman about the issue, it's always violence. So then that's why I made my position different. It was like, well, I'm going to segregate myself, and I don't have nothing to say to. If accountability is a word that's not in your vocabulary and you hate it, that's fine. I only want the women that want to be better and want to improve, who believe in having strong communities. So it's just it's hard to talk to somebody. If you're going to punch me in my face because I spelled accountability, I can't have a conversation with you. What we going to do?
Right, Picnic. It depends on the approach, like the therapy approach. If you ever
the approach don't matter, Crystal.
It never matters.
There you go.
It never matters. It never matters. It's literally when women hear the truth, they attack you. And this is something that I've experienced with my own mother. This is you say this is your issue.
Yes.
Simple.
Yes. No, listen.
Yep.
I agree that is what is going on. And with that being said, it's true. It doesn't mean that we as black women, me, you, and Lamb, can still sit here and say, oh, I'm gonna segregate myself. No, we got to get out here. And it might be maybe after they come through me with a more softer approach, and I can say, okay, now I'm gonna send you to Lamb because she has a more Crimson Cure approach, which is fine. But the only way you bring people in is through love. That's the only way. And it's not saying agreeing with their behavior, saying, girl, that's a reason why you twerking on that D. Because y'all know I ain't saying that. But what I'm saying is you have to understand your client in order to help them. And if they feel that you're attacking them, they will never open up in order to get to their vulnerable.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Still, if I told someone at a store that your child is a little loud, and then she gets angry at that fact, like that ain't no approach.
Okay, so watch this. Let me show you how you do that. Come here. What's his name? I do it all the time. I swear to God, you can ask my man. I'll be like, what's his name? Girl, that's Trey. And they be like, girl, that's Trey. His badass. And I say, girl, he remind me of my 3-year-old daughter, Zippy. She be moving and zipping. Come here, Trey. Let me show you something. All of a sudden, now I just made a connection with this woman. I ain't have to do nothing but be kind. And guess what? I can deal with Shaquana. I can deal with the hood chicks who gonna slap me. And guess what? I'm gonna slap them back. But I don't come in with that approach if they try to slap me.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Gotta be.
But you just
handholding to me. I think that's
real quick. Let me get in here real quick.